It's official. Victor Wembanyama isn't just tall anymore, he's terrifying. The hype surrounding him before he even stepped onto an NBA court was overwhelming, but now the reality is even more shocking. The league thought they'd have time to prepare, that this young phenom would need years to grow into his frame and adjust to the brutal physicality of the pros. But they were wrong. What we're watching unfold isn't just the rise of a new superstar, it's the rewriting of basketball itself. Because Wembanyama has transformed, not just in size and strength, but in mentality, in skill, and in the way he approaches the game. He's gone from a 7-foot alien who looked like the future into something scarier, a player who's already here, already dominating, and already changing what's possible on a basketball court. And the wild part, he's still just getting started. From the very beginning, Wembanyama proved he wasn't just another hyped prospect. His rookie year in San Antonio featured one of the most jaw-dropping performances a first-year player has ever delivered. Back in February of 2024 against the Toronto Raptors, he put up a stat line that doesn't even seem real. 27 points, 15 rebounds, 10 blocks, and 5 assists. That game placed him in the rarest of company. Only 4 other rookies in NBA history had ever recorded a 25, 15, 10, 5 performance. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, and David Robinson. That's not just good company. That's a Mount Rushmore of big men, players whose names shaped entire eras of basketball. But Wemby did something even more impressive. He became the first rookie in history to record separate triple-doubles with both assists and blocks. No one had ever done that since blocks even started being officially tracked in the 1970s. And that was just one game. Over the course of his rookie campaign, he shattered expectations, not only matching the production of legends, but in some areas, surpassing them. For anyone who doubted whether the hype could translate to reality, that game against the Raptors was the warning shot. But as jaw-dropping as his rookie arrival was, Wemby wasn't even close to finished. In his second season, Wembanyama proved that his rookie year wasn't a fluke. It was just the beginning. He raised his averages to 24 points, 11 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, and almost 4 blocks per game. Those numbers alone would be all NBA worthy for most players. But for Victor, they were just scratching the surface. Despite playing in only 46 games, he still led the entire NBA in total blocks with 176. The next closest player, Brook Lopez, had 148, and Lopez played more games. Think about that. A second-year player, still barely old enough to legally buy a drink in the U.S., was altering more shots at the rim than anyone else in the league. Even more shocking was his shooting. Wembanyama attempted nearly 9 three-pointers per game and knocked them down at a 35% clip. That's volume and efficiency that would place him in the top 10 of the entire league. And this is coming from a player standing 7 feet 5 inches in sneakers. It's like if Shaq had shot threes like Klay Thompson. When you zoom out and compare his first 100 games to the greats of the past 45 years, the numbers become unreal. He scored more points than LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony through their first 100 games. At the same time, he blocked more shots than Shaquille O'Neal, Dikembe Mutombo, and Hakeem Olajuwon. It's like combining KD's scoring with Mutombo's rim protection. Before Victor, this combination was purely theoretical. Now, it's terrifying reality. And here's the kicker. Through those first 100 games, Wembanyama had already hit more three-pointers than Stephen Curry did at the same stage of his career. That's right, a 7-foot 5-inch skyscraper of a human had a deeper shooting bag than the greatest shooter the league has ever seen at the same age. But dominance alone wasn't the question. The real concern was whether his body could handle the pounding of the NBA. For years, skeptics said Wemby would be too frail to survive the NBA grind. They pointed to his thin frame, his long legs, his narrow shoulders. They imagined him getting bullied by veteran bigs, shoved around under the rim. But in just 2 years, Victor has turned that narrative upside down. Before training camp, his official height was updated. 7 feet 4 inches in socks, 7 feet 5 inches in shoes. That's taller than nearly everyone in league history. Yet what made headlines wasn't just his size, it was his muscle. On draft night, he weighed between 210 and 220 pounds. By the start of the 2025 season, he'd packed on a solid 20 pounds of muscle. now listed at 240. The number doesn't sound huge until you see the way he moves opponents on the floor. The clearest example came in a preseason scrimmage. Wemby caught the ball at the top of the key, gathered steam, and barreled into Boston's 7'2", 250-pound Luke Cornett. Instead of bouncing off, Victor sent him stumbling backwards as he hammered down a two-handed slam. Fans in the building erupted. It was the moment the unicorn officially became a battering ram. And this transformation wasn't an accident. Wemby spent his offseason training with legends like Hakeem Olajuwon and Kevin Garnett, lifting heavy, eating like it was a full-time job, and molding his body into something more terrifying than anyone expected this early. He was no longer just a tall kid with guard skills. He was a skyscraper with power, but his transformation wasn't only physical. It became something much deeper. At just 21 years old, Wembanyama faced a challenge that could have ended everything. He was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis, a dangerous blood clot condition that had previously forced 11-time All-Star Chris Bosh to retire at only 32. For a player whose entire identity was built on his body and potential, the diagnosis was a brutal reminder of his own fragility. But instead of breaking him, it forced him to rebuild from the inside out. During his recovery, Wemby traveled far from the NBA spotlight. He went to China and Japan, training in a Shaolin temple where he practiced meditation, martial arts, and ancient breathing techniques. It wasn't about basketball. It was about balance, discipline, and regaining control over his body and mind. Victor later explained that those lessons gave him perspective that nothing else could have. They reminded him that he was more than just an athlete, that he needed inner peace to match his outer dominance. He returned to basketball with a new sense of gratitude, a deeper mental toughness, and a sharper understanding of what his journey truly meant. And when he came back, he wasn't the same player. He was better in every way. If his inner journey rebuilt his mindset, his training rebuilt his game, and Wemby's training methods weren't normal. They were brutal. In one infamous drill, he was forced to defend one-on-one against every teammate in the gym, one after another, without breaks. While everyone else got rest between turns, Wemby had to keep going, sprinting end to end, never allowed to stop. He called his summer workouts violent, and he wasn't exaggerating. Beyond the punishment drills, he also embraced cutting-edge development techniques. In Los Angeles, he worked with skill coach Noah LaRocque and teammate Harrison Barnes on something called the constraints-led approach. Instead of scripted drills, everything was game-like. Every move, every decision was live. There were no patterns to memorize, no rehearsed counters. It forced Wemby's brain and body to constantly search for new solutions. The result? Unpredictability. Because when a 7'5" player with guard skills learns to flow naturally with the rhythm of the game, he becomes unguardable. Opponents can't scout him, they can't predict him. And when someone that tall, that skilled, and now that strong becomes impossible to anticipate, it's over. But all the training in the world doesn't matter if it doesn't show up on the court. And this preseason, Wemby proved it had. In the Spurs' open scrimmage, Wemby unveiled his new strength with that violent dunk over Cornett. But when the real games began, he showed something even more surprising: patience. Against the Guangzhou Lung Lions, he played just 16 minutes and finished with 9 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 7 assists. The box score was impressive enough, but what mattered was how he got there. He wasn't hunting shots or forcing plays. He was controlling the flow, creating for teammates, and picking his spots. Wembanyama had shifted from a center who dominated with sheer talent into a point-forward orchestrator, more reminiscent of Kevin Durant than Anthony Davis. He ran pick and rolls, pushed in transition, and played as the fulcrum of the Spurs offense. For the first time, he wasn't just the weapon, he was the system. And it wasn't just his offense that impressed. From day one of camp, Wemby set the tone for the Spurs with a simple declaration: defense is non-negotiable. It didn't matter if you were the star or the last man on the bench. Everyone would be held accountable. The message was clear. If Victor was willing to anchor the team with relentless defense, everyone else had no excuse. This wasn't just growth, it was leadership. By his third season, Wembanyama wasn't just proving himself. He was redefining what greatness looks like. Veterans and newcomers alike were stunned by his work ethic. Early mornings, late nights, two-a-day workouts that most players could only handle for a week. Wemby did them year-round. Spurs teammates described his intensity as eye-opening, saying it raised the bar for the entire locker room. It wasn't just about the highlights anymore. It was about the small things, the subtle decisions, the extra rotations, the passes that made the offense flow smoother. This was the stage where stars stopped chasing individual peaks and start raising their team's floor. Wemby was becoming not just a phenom, but a franchise cornerstone. And he did it all while carrying the weight of knowing his condition could return at any time. Every game he plays is borrowed time. That's what makes his effort even more terrifying. He's squeezing every ounce of potential out of every single moment. So where does that leave us? Wembanyama is not a center. He's not a forward. He's not a guard. He's something entirely new. A once-in-a-lifetime player who blends scoring, rim protection, playmaking, and leadership into a package the NBA has never truly seen before. He's stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than anyone expected this quickly. He's evolving faster than the league can prepare. And with the Spurs building around him, adding young talent, accountability, and a culture centered on defense, the future looks terrifying for everyone else. The truth is, Victor Wembanyama may not have even reached half of what he's capable of. And if this is what he looks like in year 3, the rest of the league has no idea what's coming next. Because if you're not watching Wemby every single night, you're not just missing a star, you're missing history.